All right, let's get this thing started. So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, James? Just introduce yourself to my professor.
Yeah, I'm James Gleason. I'm 20 years old. I'm from the Toledo area in Ohio. I graduated in 2020 from Anthony Wayne High School. Um, that's a little bit about me.
All right, and then so to the viewers that aren't aware, James is the owner and operator of G6 Landscaping. So, uh, how'd you first become interested in landscaping?
It's always something I've kind of been interested in since I was young. I've always liked mowing grass and just doing like odd jobs around the yard at my house. Um, I didn't really get serious into it until I was like a senior in high school. I was working with one of my dad's friends. He actually owns a landscaping company. I worked with him for the summer, and I just was doing the day to day stuff with him, helping him work and stuff. Um, and then close to when I was starting to go to college, it just wasn't really something I was passionate about. So I came up with a plan to start my own company. I proposed it to my parents. They were on board with it. They said it sounded good. And I actually dropped out of college. I did one semester, and I put that plan into effect. And I just hit the ground running. And that's kind of how I started. It's just something I've always been passionate about and something that I can see into the future a little bit. And it just seems to me like everything just is lining up, and it's something I like to do.
Yeah, very well said. Very interesting. So, in this interview, we're going to dive into some communication based questions. So, could you describe your communication style, how you talk to the people you work with?
Yeah. Um, in the business I'm in, communication is a very vital part of it. You are always communicating with customers, clients, just people you're trying to get materials from. The list just goes on and on and on. And learning how to communicate, I think, is a very important part of that. My first year, I was not very good at that, but I'm just slowly learning. Um, I've been starting to use CRMs, which is you can basically put your whole client list into a software, um, and then that software can really help you out trying to navigate communication. And it just kind of takes a little bit of the grunt work out of it. You can basically just communicate with everyone with the push of a button, and that makes a world of a difference, saving you lots of time. Um, so yeah, the communication part is just a very important part of business.
Awesome. And then, so for my next question, I was going to ask, how do you prefer to communicate with your workers? But it seems like you said it's a CRN, some sort of software.
CRM, yeah,
CRM.
it's basically like a secretary online, and you can, like I said, you can basically send out emails, text messages, basically whatever the customer prefers. And that's what is nice about it. You can kind of cater to a little bit of everything, and you can better help your customers that way.
Awesome. All right. Well, so now that we know how you communicate with your workers and your communication style, could you give me a example of a time that it was maybe a little bit difficult to get a message across to someone? How'd you handle that?
Um, let's see if I can think of any examples. Um, Basically, with my line of work, we deal with a lot of elderly people, people looking to, well, if they can't perform the services on their own, they have to reach out to a business to get those services done for them. Um, so a lot of the times, obviously, elderly people aren't too tech savvy. So communicating with them, it's interesting. Sometimes you just have to meet face to face with them. Um, there's a lot of driving involved and stuff like that. But if the customer can't communicate in the best way, you sometimes just have to go out and just make it happen and meet with them and just see what they want.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, how important do you think active listening plays a role in effective communication? How do you make sure that you're actively listening in communication?
This is a big one. Um, I've had numerous examples of customers, like kind of miscommunications between customers and the business owner, like myself. And a lot of the times it could um, really screw up like a job or a service that you're doing. That's why another reason I like the CRM, you can basically just type out everything that you're going to do when you get to the property. So there's no miscommunication whatsoever. The customer knows what to expect. I know what to expect out of the customer. You can collect signatures, so everything is backed up. Um, so I think, like I said, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of that. So yeah.
Awesome. Uh, have you ever received constructive criticism about your communication and your style?
Yeah, I've had a um, couple customers have reached out to me on things I can work on, and obviously I'm still young, so I'm still learning. Um, I've had my a couple peers reach out to me, just the same thing, and I'm always looking at ways to improve, whether it be the quality of work, quality of communication. Um, so a lot of the times people will look at that stuff and kind of get bitter about it, but I try and just look on the bright side and take what people tell me and just see if I can't use it to my benefit and better the company.
Awesome. Very informative. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about your communication experience?
Um, Not really off the top of my head. Just that if people are trying to get into business um, for themselves or through someone else, whatever it may be, um, use technology to your advantage, especially in today's day and age. There's so much technology out there that can really benefit you if you just actually search for it and know how to use it, and just learning. There's so much learning involved to do um, with business in general in today's day and age. I think that could really help people in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. Technology is definitely a big help. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, I do have one question for you. What do you like about communication, or what strikes you to be interested in communication?
What strikes me to be interested in communication is it's the one thing that we have as humans that puts our thoughts and can really rub off on other people, and also it's the way we use our influences through words. Without words, we're just a bunch of guys walking around with no direction. So, studying communication and figuring out the best ways to communicate, everyone else's communication styles, most efficient ways, all that type of stuff is just going to make anybody a more well rounded human being and more effective, especially in the workplace.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Glad I
Awesome.
could be of assistance.